Hey guys, welcome to my last lecture. My name is Sarah Ponce, and today I'll be talking about Magda Gerber and some of her amazing contributions to the child development field, in particular her RIE method. Okay, so I have not talked about Magda Gerber in any of my other lectures, and I really wanted you guys to get a sense of who she is as a person before we jump into theory. So I'm going to talk a little bit about her personal life. So she was born in Budapest, Hungary, November 1st, 1910, and I included a picture of Budapest on the left-hand side. It's just a beautiful city, and I really wanted you guys to get a sense of where she grew up and raised her kids for the most part of her life. She married Irma Gerber, and this is him pictured on the right-hand side. This is on their honeymoon, vacationing in Paris. They had 3 children together, and she passed away April 27th, 2007 in Los Angeles, California, living a long and fulfilling life of 97 years. Education. She attended the University of Paris and got her bachelor's in linguistics. Going to college at this time was extremely rare for a woman, and it was an amazing accomplishment. At 35 years old, she chose to go back and get her master's degree after having her 3 children, and attended Budapest University in 1945. So on the left-hand side, this is the University of Paris, and on the left-hand side is the University of Budapest, and great, have beautiful architecture. I just wanted to include that as well. Okay, so her career. She has an extensively amazing career. So she first began work as a therapist at the Children's Hospital. I think she did something with speech, so her linguistics background, and then of course the Children's Hospital. So that was her master's in child development coming into play. She then spent 7 years working with autistic children at the Dubnoff School, and she was very celebrated in both these lines of work and was invited by Thomas Forrest. He was a pediatric neurologist and clinical assistant professor of pediatrics at Stanford. This is him pictured in the right-hand corner, him and Magda Gerber. They worked together for many, many years. So he first called upon her to advise him on the Children's Health Council. And then they co-directed the Demonstration Infant Program, DIP. And this was kind of like a preventative health-based model. They worked with groups of infants and toddlers and their parents, kind of measuring mental health and doing things based off of that. In 1973, she began teaching parent-infant guided classes in Los Angeles, California. And in 1978, Gerber and Forrest co-founded the nonprofit organization Resources for Infant Educators, RIE, in Los Angeles to further their work with families and childcare professionals. So just working together, they kind of grew together in this line of child development and created their own theory-based practice. So she then went on to teach early childhood development classes at the University of California, Los Angeles, California State University, Northridge, and Pacific Oaks College in Pasadena. She also taught professional training classes and RIE parent-infant guided classes at the RIE Center in Los Angeles. And that was later in her life that she did the teaching. Okay, so I wanted to pause right here and I have a question for you guys. So what influencing factors in Magda Gerber's life may have influenced her passion for child development that continued on through her life? And here's a picture of Magda with her kids. And while you guys are discussing Magda's life, I really want you to think about this in accordance to your own life and why you were passionate about child development. How did it start? Was it a thing that you had since you were younger, where you always gravitated towards children? Did it start once you had your own children? Kind of share your stories and connect it to why Magda kind of felt this call in life. So I wanted to also share with you guys why I have a passion for child development. I did start as a psychology major, and I knew I always had a passion for child development. Since I was younger, my mom was a preschool teacher, and I always, after school, I would help and go kind of, during nap time or whenever, help my mom do crafts like for the classroom with her. And I knew it was always a calling. When I went to college, I wanted to learn more about psychology and child psychology. And during my undergrad, I was just always drawn to the child development aspect of psychology, which is why I chose to do my master's in child development. And as of now, I am a infant and toddler teacher, finishing up my master's program, and hopefully can get an adjunct teaching position or a teaching position within a college. So that's a little bit about me. I can't wait to hear about your guys' contributing factors to why you love child development as well. Okay, so let's get started on the RIE theory. So as I mentioned, it stands for Resources for Infant Educators. It was founded in 1978 by Magda Gerber and Thomas Forrester. And the ultimate goal with RIE is to nurture what's referred to as the authentic child. So children should be able to move in daily life feeling secure, competent, autonomous, and connected to their environment. So I chose this picture here. I work at the Fairplex Child Development Center, and while researching the RIE theory, so much of our curriculum is kind of embedded or coinciding with this RIE theory. So these infants look like they're around 1 year old, maybe a little bit younger. I work with 1-year-olds. They just all turned 1. And we do the same method during lunchtime. They have their own table and their own chairs. They're not in high chairs, and they sit independently and feed themselves, whether that's with their hand or a spoon. And I think this really just connects to the authentic child and letting them feel confident, secure, and of course, really representing that autonomy side of child development. Okay. Okay, so the basis of the RIE approach, above all else, is respect. So respect the infant. As adults, we want respect from others, and this, I think, is what Magda was trying to incorporate in her RIE approach, which is treat the infant how you want to be treated, and that is with respect. So demonstrate respect as you interact with them, and in regards to others around you as well. So your coworkers, treating them with respect, or if you're a parent, treating your partner with respect, or the people at the store with respect, so your child sees that modeled as you treat them with respect. And treating even the youngest infants as a human being rather than an object. So an example is telling the infant you're going to pick them up before lifting them. And this is what we do often at my job as well. So if I'm going to change their diaper, I will go to them or call them if they can walk and say, I'm going to pick you up now, we're going to change your diaper. And while I change their diaper, I just kind of talk them through it, tell them what I'm doing, what I'm going to do next. Okay, I'm going to use the wipe, it's going to be a little cold. And while you're building their verbal skills, you're also just treating them with respect and also setting up a routine. And it just touches on a lot of child development aspects and just that underlining issue or representation of respect as a core value. Oh, I wanted to go back to this picture of Magda. I love that she's on the floor with the infant because as teachers, we're just always on the floor. That's the best way to connect to a child, to be at their level. Okay, so the goal, an authentic child. So, as I mentioned, an authentic child will feel secure, autonomous, and of course, competent in their own exploration. So, noticing and appreciating the child. And this can be just, oh, I see you're crawling. Oh, you found the red ball. Oh, you're mouthing the red ball. Just kind of illustrating what they're doing during their exploration. Parents and caregivers influence the child's personality and the way the child views the world. So again, what you speak into existence is what becomes the child's internal thought process. Trust in the infant's competence. So trust the infant as an initiator and explorer who is willing and able to learn. Because we trust, we allow the child to partake in mastery with only the help they need that is necessary. So I chose this picture because the child is on a kind of like a wooden block, and it looks as if he just mastered this. Like he's been trying to get up it, and now he finally did, and he has that look of, like, yes, I did it, accomplishment. And as a parent or teacher, if you see the child trying to get up, you may have the urge to maybe pick them up and put them on it. Or if they're kind of like, frustrated or crying, you just want, here, I'll put you up. But that goes back to letting them partake in the mastery of it. That it feels good as an adult when you master something without somebody's help. And trusting that, yes, they may fall. And yes, you want to be there to catch them, but also trusting that they know their skill level and that they will be able to accomplish it eventually. Sensitive observation. So being a parent or an educator, you're in that position to be able to observe the child interrupted during play. And the more you observe, the more you kind of understand where they're at as a child and what they're doing developmentally. We become humble, teach less, and provide an environment that will promote learning. And providing an environment that promote learning could be anything. Like I love this picture because it kind of looks like a pot, and we have pots and pans in our classroom, and I bang them together, bang them on the floor, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a bunch of colorful toys. It can be objects that you bring from home, because as an infant or as a toddler, everything is that exploratory concept. Everything is new. So being able to observe that, you just kind of see what the next step is, what they need next, and it's a beautiful concept, really. Okay, caregiving times in involving the child. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so during care activities such as diapering, feeding, bathing, dressing, encourage even the youngest infant to become an active participant rather than a passive recipient of the activities. Create opportunities for interaction, cooperation, intimacy, and mutual enjoyment. So, as I mentioned during diapering, like talking to them and telling them, like, can you hold your wipe? Or now I'm gonna wipe you. Can you lift your legs for me? Okay, now we're gonna wash our hands, scrub our hands together, instead of just, changing their diaper without talking to them and then washing their hands for them, or just wiping them with the wipey. The more they do as an infant, the easier the transition will be as they become a toddler and become more autonomous naturally. A safe, challenging, predictable environment. So creating an environment where the child can do all the things they would do naturally. The more predictable an environment is, the easier it is for the baby to learn. As infants become more mobile, they need safe, appropriate spaces in which to move. And I chose this picture because the caregiver is laughing alongside the baby, and it's a safe environment, and the baby follows the caregiver is there, but it's allowing him to explore. Okay, I'm gonna pause here. We're almost out of time. I will continue on the next video, so see you soon.